Hello my spooky friends, it is Stacy and welcome to another scar tutorial. I'm doing a series on several different types of scars, and last week I did a scar that was one that indents into the skin, and that is called a contracture scar. It's just the way the body tends to heal. And today I'm doing a hypertrophic scar, and this is a scar that actually gets raised in the healing process. The skin comes together a little bit raised because it's just the way the collagen and the body tends to heal in certain areas. It's a little bit more common in areas that are tighter, like around the shoulder and above in the forehead, but that does not matter. It can heal any different kind of ways. Everyone's skin is different, but I thought this series would be great to make sure to know what kind of scars you are creating, because you might be working with client on the set or want to create a specific character. Now, last week's video was a little bit more expensive because it was rigid collodion, and this week I wanted something extremely easy to do, so I have this leftover eyelash glue that I wanted to use up because it's getting kind of old, and I thought you'd be able to go out and get eyelash glue and toothpicks and start creating this look today. So I'm back to go over this extremely budget-friendly look with you today. I have my hair done. Finally, thank you for all who voted, who thought that this would be a good look for me, because I am enjoying it, although I do love the wig just a little bit. It's fun to switch it up. So let's just grab our eyelash glue, our eyeshadow, and our toothpicks, and let's get into it. Today I'm using the Duo Clear Dry Adhesive Lash Glue. You can find this at most drugstores for about $6. But as with any adhesive, also remember you need to protect your hair. Now, with just a little bit of product on the end of this toothpick, I want the toothpick to not actually touch the face. I want the product to glide across it because you need a raised area. So what happens is, in a hypertrophic scar, you have areas that heal inside of the incision or the wound, but it's also raised, and that does not automatically mean that it's the entire scar. So I'm going a little bit heavier in some areas and a little bit lighter in the others, and I'm telling you right now that this process does take a good amount of time for the lash glue to begin to dry. As you can see, the thinner parts are clear and the thicker parts are still white, but that's okay. You can go through and add a little bit more product just to make sure that you're getting the actual look that you want. And I go in and just touch up the areas that are a little bit thin, but also if you have areas that have gone way too wide, you can use the back of the toothpick that's dry and carve that off to create the scar. Now, working in thin layers is going to let it dry a little bit easier, but still, after using thin layers, it still takes a long time to dry, about 20 minutes for me. But there is a payoff to a long drying time because you're able to see what you're working with, as that white still appears and is not 100% dry. As long as you can touch it or roll a brush over it, you're free to powder it to get rid of the shine. To give more lift and have dimension in this look, I'm using a red eyeshadow, and I'm going up underneath the scar to create a shadow. And if you have a hand that's not steady, cross your arm and use that to bear down to give you a steady hand. Now I'm making sure that up underneath, that red color is darker than that is on top. So we have light that comes down and skates across a raised surface. You get more shadow up underneath than you do at the top. Depending on the age of the scar and the look you're going for, you don't have to use red. You can actually go through and use a lighter brown, something that matches the skin tone, but there is no rhyme or reason as to how skin likes to heal, so it really is up to you and the availability of the eyeshadows. Now I'm going in with a purple because most of the time a raised hypertrophic scar is discolored in the center but does not grow outside of the actual wound or the cut on the skin itself. So I am applying that around the bottom portion and on the top, and then I picked a grease wheel to go through and color some of the areas that are thinner in the lash glue, and I want to keep the flesh tone, so I'm going to pop on and skate a light pale color to bring that color back a little bit, so it gives you dimension. So the purple has it sunken a little bit, but that skating across with the light eyeshadow is going to bring back the flesh color, and I think it adds a little bit more dimension. Here is another trick that you can do with that lash glue dry on the surface. You can actually peel that off and use it as another raised scar. This is less drying time, so pop in some lash glue, allow some air to get it tacky, and then place that strip onto the area, and then add a little bit more lash glue to secure the edges at the top. and around onto the bottom. Once everything is dry, get rid of the shine with some more powder and go back in with the eyeshadows of red to get the coloring on the side, and again with the purple to match the other look of the other raised scars. The drying time for this hack is about 5 minutes, and going back in with a light color eyeshadow to pop out the flesh tone and add dimension. So here is the final look, scars that are raised in different levels and different colorations. And if you found this tutorial useful, please hit that like button. And if you are looking for other ways to create scars that are heavily indented into the face, hang out for this next tutorial and do hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next scar makeup coming out next Friday. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.